womo so masnema me den sem no me de eba besom wo dada ba tech up enso eton phones ene ho aka de bia se wo pe Infinix, iPhone, Samsung, Yam, Tecno no ni na no do ni etwem e wo dada ba tech up ubenya sa phones ni na ebi na womo ewo kaneshi womo eben takwa station ne pe no to betimi akoho na wakoto phones a eno so eya papa yi papa warranted that's no eno se emu edu Talent Microfinance enso yisika krabia womo aba womo ebo nipa dodo na mo musika sem ejina ne nan so eno nti se wo ye ankrankra enyumeko sorry na mo pe baby edi musika esie no mema eno enye wo dadwen esanse talent for ba womo ebebo ama musika sem etimi ejina ne nan so ye papa ede ama enyumere jumeko we adaroma anomo boma chidom mameden sem no mede bro na mekai wo sensem no etwago ewe abefo ntintam fidie ne so Facebook any YouTube ke FM TVG channel to betimi ahwebi na wa share na wa like na wa dwen channel so udi egu ase ama me kama enyumere sem no dosum na de bedi mo akotene ebia ne se ende government ahye Ken Oforiata womuntime emfa ne free US mine mo MBP mo e my Ghana ha no montoto na no emfa semba kumienu eho sa enso so anna kanechi food bridge no wo mo de abetu yo mo chese se adeti bi e wom no ade a ehu ye papa no ntimpeni fontimi hwe na wo mo enye bibi emfa ho emma mo no so ede mu nsem ye de ebebro ye de jede nsem ebeka ho de ama unemployment no ade mo chese se ade akostro ekodu 12.8% ewo first year 3 quarters edema 2025 emu a eno so ye de mu nsem ye de bebrew enyume ye de ne jede nsem ebeka ho ede ama Black Sheriff enso abone homodin ekopie mu ewo Eugene wo mo vice chancellor enima watchem se zama disco concert no 2025 de no wo de ebe hihye so ide mu nsem ye de ebebrew we ni nsem ne afoforo pi ayabo no a ye de ebe so wakase no so kenkan fo a enyume wotemi nka no edin am koma mitwa me ho sema ba me ba nsem no Shimamba yesama muina akwaba edamasise enyume mugusu siakase wo KFM TV ne so mekoso ekai wo se enyume nsem no ego awai abefont any YouTube FM TV G channel to wetimi ahwebi na wa share na wa like na wa dwen channel so udi ama me kama me hyensem na se de ama enyume di adom kuma a wo mo ewo marahye bedwafie de abetu Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ni ma mo chem senke be ya ni ministerial appointment o ye wo my Ghana ha no medu se wo ye nsesan kakra e wo ne sanse ni padodo na kradra wo mu go epono na chi a wo mo pese wo mo ebo adwuma ye papa no ntinke be ya mampani John Dramani Mahama won hwe na won sesamo enfama wo mo na wuche se eno ade bia ebetimi aboaye papa amadwuma etimi akoso nsemwe anadom kuma no enyume wo mode abetu edwa.
Advertise the name of the minister in charge of public sector reforms. Been on the order people for very long time. Very long time. So we have to take it because we'll be rising on Friday. We have to take this question. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. Besides, front bench, Minister for Agric just wrote to us. I was just given a copy that he cannot come. That's fine. Eric has been a very dutiful person. I won't begrudge him. But his deputy must be here. The president must be watching. The first reshuffle must happen. So that they are Honorable Van der Poel, for instance. He is waiting. He has been lacing his shoe for a very long time. The first reshuffle must happen. Leader, tell the president, the ministers who are not ready to do public business, the president must reshuffle them. Honorable Zuela is ready. Honorable Sasu, for instance, he has been suffering for long. He's all waiting.
nsɛm a wɔde to dwa bi ana yɛde abɛsom wɔ yɛto asɛm ne so de wakɔnsɛmfo from their Minister for Justice and Attorney General Dominic Ayine and ɛna ɔde ne accountability series no wɔde hyehyɛ so ɛwɔ man Ghana ha sei na wɔne nsɛm ana ɔde to dwa wɔkyɛ sɛ anka ne ɔsoafo a ɔhwɛ yɛ sikasɛm so ɛwɔ man Ghana ha sei Ken Ofori-Atta sɛsi ade wɔkɔpi obi man so ɛwɔ US man ne mu no wɔkyɛ sɛsi ade wɔn ne ɛyɛ US mpanyinfoɔ ɛyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ a wɔn de Ken Ofori-Atta bɛbɛ PM ewo my Ghana say omatonsa e de afre ni mpem bebre na won pese obeba no sesi ade wo mo de wo hye kwan so ana wo mo de no e be PM ewo my Ghana same way ana Dominic Ayine wo de abeto edwa
November 19th 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the office of the special prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Ofori-Atta and Ernest Darko Akore from the United States of America. Following a preliminary review, our International Cooperation Unit observed that certain aspects of the request require clarification and enhancements to align with the applicable legal and procedural requirements. We communicated these observations to the Office of the Special Prosecutor via a letter dated 25th November 2025 and requested supplementary documentation to ensure completeness. On December 9th, 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided a requested additional documentation and addressed the observations that we raised, thereby finalizing the extradition request packages. Subsequently, on December 10th, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States. At this point, it is left to the American authorities, especially the judicial authorities, to make a determination on whether a sufficient basis exists for the two accused persons to be extradited to Ghana to stand trial. And because the matters have already been filed, and because they have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I am not permitted to go into the details of the charges. But the charge sheet is a public document and has been made available. And all of you, I'm sure, have access to it. There are 78 charges against Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta and his accomplices, and they border on causing financial loss to the state, using public office for private benefit, and so on and so forth. So you can look at the charge sheet and then make up your minds with respect to the charges. So I won't comment on them in today's press conference. Basically, what I want Ghanaians to know is that this government is committed to accountability, and the government has taken the requisite steps that are legally required for the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta and Ernest Darko Akore to be extradited to Ghana, to be brought to Ghana to face justice. As I indicated earlier, it is now left to the judicial authorities in the United States to assess the entire package that we have presented to find out whether there is sufficient basis for him to be extradited.
Chimambe nunti semwe ana Dominic Ayine wode abetu dwenwumre yenso ye de bi ababe som ye de wo every sansem ni mu na ye de wa consent from their air foreign affairs minister Ononyafo Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa and the wode abetu dwa wo chim se eye Rwanda a share se wo mo epese wo musi eye momentum wo Bema campaign no ebeboa ama Ghana eye sojafa wo boa ma bibia no eye djuma ekoso no mo de ahye mo ni onyama wo chese se ade we eye request and omode yabe to Ghana and penny for any.
Rwanda continues to celebrate Ghana because of what our armed forces did. When other countries left during their genocide, that very horrendous episode they don't want to remember. It was Ghanaian troops who stayed and saved lives, created humanitarian corridors for aid and for assistance to come later. That is why Rwanda has presented its highest national awards to Ghanaians, the Ghanaian commanders, led by General Anyidoho. They celebrate him unto this day. He has, when he arrives, when General Anyidoho arrives in Rwanda, he has received the highest national award. Do you know the Rwandans have written to the foreign ministry that they want to come to Ghana and establish a monument?
They have?
Yes. And I put together a committee. We have selected the location. It's going to be at the Bema camp. And they are coming. They say that they don't want us to contribute anything. They are going to use their own Rwandan taxpayer resources
because
to
of
erect this monument.
Our partaking
because
and
of what we
participation
did.
in that,
Yes.
the intervention.
The intervention. They say that if our troops didn't come there on peacekeeping and didn't stay, they don't know if they will be alive today. So the Rwandans in the next few days are going to start the erection of a monument here at Bema camp. And they want it to be an eternal and enduring appreciation.
Ebusiafo Unity Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa wono anodin semwe abetudwa yenso yede bi ababesom ye to ansem ne so ne yede ma concern from dia wasan edit tudwa bi ma wo chem se eye frosters ahodo a wo mo ehwema passport dwumedie na ekoso no sankrofo na wo mo de wo mo fa kwan bone so de passport no wo chese wo ye mo brebre na yade ansa so mo a wo behwa ma Ghana mra no eni wo edini se ne sefata Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa ne nsema wo san edit tudwa no
notice, and it appears to be a very age-old challenge. But fortunately, because of the investments we have made in strengthening the security architecture around passport acquisition, now it is very, very difficult. The last time I held a press conference and exposed how over 370 foreigners who tried in recent weeks to obtain Ghanaian passports, how they were exposed. Because of the system we have put in place, we quickly rounded them up, and they are being prosecuted as we speak. And we made it clear at that press conference that you will not be allowed to obtain a Ghanaian passport when you are not a Ghanaian, when you don't qualify to have a Ghanaian passport. And when we get you, you will not be spared. You will be prosecuted, and we will go for the full sanctions, not leaving out jail sentences. So it should be made clear that we have tightened the system. We now have a PPP arrangement with the BTS consortium, which infuses a lot of technology. And often on these platforms, I don't want to delve into details for these criminals to want to beat the system. But you see, previously, before I became foreign minister, if you are applying for a passport in Tamale, from the Tamale Passport Application Center, those in Accra or in Takoradi, at the Takoradi Passport Application Center, don't know what is going on in Tamale. So if you are denied, the people in Tamale do a good job and notice that, no, you just crossed into the country probably from a neighboring country. You don't qualify. You can try your luck in Takoradi or in Accra.
And it will be isolated.
And because the system was not integrated. Now we have full integration, real-time integration. And once you are flagged any part of our country, you will not be allowed. If you attempt, you will be arrested. So I think that the systems we've put in place really help. But I would say that we all have to be eternally vigilant. Sometimes it is some of our own citizens who try to, vouch for these foreigners. Oh, it's my cousin, my brother. Oh, he or she is a Ghanaian, and they come up with all kinds of spurious claims. And when we go into it, we find out that they have obtained a Ghana card fraudulently. They do not qualify, for a Ghanaian passport. So let me assure all Ghanaians, including our international partners watching, that the system now has been tightened. We have a zero tolerance policy against any foreigner holding on to our passport. Because you see, some of the visa waiver agreements we have signed recently, one of the conditions is that we must keep the sanctity of our passports. We must make sure that those passports don't get into the wrong hands. Because if they do get into the wrong hands, the countries will pull out. We are talking about countries, in Europe, in the other parts of Africa, in Asia,
in the Caribbean,
the Caribbeans, who care very much about national security, and they really have entered into these agreements with Ghana because they know they can trust Ghanaians. Ghanaians are law-abiding. Ghanaians, we are not, a failed state. We are very decent people. So if they do not get the sense that we are going the extra mile to protect the sanctity of our passports, they will get out of these agreements. And we don't want that. We rather want to have many more Ghanaians. And I want to add value to our passports. So far, we are doing about 52 countries where you can travel visa-free.
Just walk in.
Yes. I'm hoping that we can double this number,
over time.
Over time.
Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa nsema odi tu dwa nwumre ana yeso ye dibi ababesom ye to asem ne so nwumre ne de wa concern from dia eye ma hye badwane a owo efie eye nkwanta onmonyafo Isaac Bo amanya akon wode abetu dwa wo chem se eye menteme ho ase ekoso e wo boko ene ne importem no sa mediation na omode hyehyes no eye nkitwam eye sa intokoi ekọ beyond mediation tinke wo se aban ene ni penny for mutimi hwe no omode hyehyes pa egu kwam se betimi aboama asumdwe mapa etimi epiemu ewo boko ene ne importem same way ana onmonya for Isaac Bo amanya akon wode abetu eja
send matters to court and the court at the highest level makes a determination based on the facts before them. It will be very, very dangerous for another body like a traditional authority to say otherwise against, unless you go through the same judicial process to overturn the decision that has been made by the Supreme Court. And so Otumfuo was caught in that web. But why not? Because he also, from a very experienced traditional point of view, having reviewed the history and the background and all of that, the team were convinced that that is the proper way to position it. But before getting into those conclusions, people have interest. People have paraded themselves as either kinsmen or people with entitlement to the throne of the Kusasi land, amongst others. And so I think the biggest plea, if you check the 2-4 report, the biggest plea goes to the Nairi, because he is supposed to be the overlord of the entire kingdom or paramountcy. And so leadership is calling on him to respect this particular position and bring all parties on board to respect the decision. And it's a difficult one on him because he has tried to also acknowledge someone other than the Bokonaba. And so going to reverse that needs a lot more. But what do we want as a country? It's peace. We have allowed this conflict to, if you check the cost of managing the Boko conflict, if we had invested that money to the development of the area, I'm sure Boko would have become nicer than even Laboni. True. If you check the cost of providing security for the security personnel and all of that, the logistics, the intelligence, all the money that has gone into this Boko conflict, it would have fundamentally changed the narrative in terms of economic activities, to the extent that even when it comes to public service and servants and service delivery, all of them had to run away from the community. So how were they going to, and you can't even post officials to Boko, and it all affected the well-being of the people. So I think as a country, we've come very far. This is where the traditional authority led by Otumfuo has also situated the thing. Government has given its complete endorsement to the recommendations of the committee. So it goes beyond now any mediation process. Now it is about enforcing and making sure that parties abide by the recommendation and then the verdicts of government. And so I expect His Excellency the President, the security operatives amongst others, to be on the ground and see how best they can also enforce the peace that we want to see in Boko. At the end of the day, it is totality of Ghana that wants the well-being of the good people of Boko. Yeah. And I believe all of us on this table and Ghanaians will be very, very happy to see how we move beyond the decision of the president.
Yeah, to answer me so Edo a concern from dia Elvis Darko wono so abeka side afa Boko ensemi ho a watch say essence am ntimi ho ase a ekoso e wo Boko ne important ti Boko di okopie mu ho ade papa bia entimi mba o makwan we say sam ntimi ho ase a ekoso na yade a ama normal ase aye bisi basa e wo montima wo hwe nim se bibisa entimi ento aso ho asumdwe mapa ebekoso a epie mu e wo Boko ene important Elvis Darko one of the same way abetu eja.
Count we did was that over 300 lives have been lost. Yeah. A billion cities cannot buy even one life.
Not a single one.
So if over 300 lives have been lost in that area, all because of this conflict, that's the lives lost alone. Yeah. So enormous. And you are talking about economic loss. Whilst businesses will not want to even have anything to go and do at the place. Education, health, doctors and health professionals will not want to be posted there. And as a result, people who need health care may be dying needlessly because then they don't have inadequate staff for health. Education down because lots of teachers will not want to accept posting. So obviously, if you look at if you want to calculate the actual impact, okay, not forgetting the billions the state itself has sunk in there just to maintain some level of peace. Clearly, the conflict has caused enormous losses to the Boko people compared to the 1 billion that the state wants to invest there. This 1 billion that is going to be invested, if you look at it clearly, if that conflict had not happened and all that we have enumerated had not been lost, probably the gains that Boko would have made will be far, far, far higher than this 1 billion. So conflict does not bring anything positive to any group of people, irrespective of what is the cause of the conflict. Bottom line is everybody is a loser. Everybody, including the leaders who are fueling it, they are all losers because everybody in one way or the other will lose something in a conflict area. And therefore the 1 billion to revitalize the place is a good move. But if they will give peace a chance and then the state investment in protecting the peace, the losses they themselves are incurring because their businesses, their life, in all aspects of their lives have been affected. If they'll give peace a chance, they will be doing better. I've said that if we're investing the monies we're using to protect the peace in the area alone, in that Boko township, probably Boko will be like maybe Dubai.
Yeah, to answer me so Edo wa concern from Enyu Media mrahye bedwane a wogina hodima de hye ya wo mo ewo fuase ayobi abaton peswa so onmonyafo kojo opon kroma enwe wo no so ede sembia betudwa wode ko amagana ban wo chim se Kumase Accra Kumase kwantipon dada no kamea se aban eje na jeje mu a won pese obetwa nani ede akohwe na wasiesie ede amom se ne be ya cars betimi afaso ewo ho sai no nti on de we declare say ade asa kwan no wo mo ebuomani eguso kojo ponkroma ni sema wodi tudwa no ebia na enwumre so ye de esomo ewo kase no so
that I think the government should pay particular attention to so that it doesn't become one of those projects that are left hanging. First, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that contrary to the impression in many people's minds that this is a project ready to go, actually, even the feasibility for this project has not been done yet. It is the first obligation now being contracted under this concession agreement. You recall when the finance minister read the budget, the videos were being shown, circulated. In people's minds, in the minds of my constituents, for example, this is a project that is baked and good to go. But actually, the feasibility is now going to be done. And so my first caution to the government is to manage the risks pretty well in terms of the expectations you create in people's minds. Else, you may have challenges along the way. Number two, Mr. Speaker, If you look at paragraph 10.2 of the committee's report, the government claims that financing has been ring-fenced for this project. I want to read, Mr. Speaker. It says that the committee further observed that provision has been made in the 2026 budget for a total allocation of 30 billion cedis for the project. In addition, the allocation of 13 billion 800 million Ghana cedis approved under the Big Push program in the 2025 financial year, which has not been drawn down, has been ring-fenced to support this expressway. Mr. Speaker, if the financiers or the persons managing the finances are informing the minister that this 13 billion has been ring-fenced, I want to inform the minister it's not true. Minister, in the budget returns that they brought, you recall we had this debate on this floor and I showed you the numbers. They have already spent 10 billion cedis of that money. Appendix 2C. When you come to the line on the Big Push, by September, 10 billion has already been paid. So, Minister, if they are informing you that they have ring-fenced this 13 billion and it's available, please check, else they may disappoint you at the end. My final point, Mr. Speaker. This project is GOG funded through GIF, and I think it's a beautiful framework so that the money is made available to GIF subcontractor, and GIF can take the money back as a commercial project. But it is GOG still. And the old Accra-Kumasi highway, if I'm correct, is also GOG. What it means is that the one that we are struggling to pay is about 65 to 70% complete, but there are difficulties in servicing the payment, is going to be drawing from the same pot that this supposed 30 billion plus 13 billion, which we are told is ring-fenced, are also drawing from. And Mr. Speaker, I think it is important that while pursuing this new one, the old road is not left to hang. We are told that it's only missing a number of things, including lighting and other things, and of course about 40% or 35% of work to complete. If they are both going to draw from the same source, especially now that the revenues haven't hit the projections, let's be careful so that we don't have both projects hanging. With that said, Mr. Speaker, we
Ebusuafo nti kojo opon kroma wono anodin semwe abetudwe nwumre yen so ye de bi aba besom ye den sem no e consent fofom dia eye Deputy Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs eye Mame Rita na Odele Sowa na wo de abetudwa wo chem se sesi ade wo mode eye billboard clean up ebe hihye so a eno ebe boama billboards ahodo a eye etwa wo my Ghana ha ehia ne titiru ene encaremantem ha ehia no wo mo atiti bi so e de ama a driver for any nipadodo abibia wo mu yisu ya kwantempon e wo my Ghana ha say wo hwem say e billboards ni bi ho age kwan aboso esisi a driver for anima eno e ade bia abibia no etimi ma kwanhia esisi e wo my Ghana ha say eno sesi adomo chese wo mu behwe masa clean up exercise we akoso e wo my Ghana ha no ma me Rita na Odele Sowa wono ana obedi sa adwumedie we enim amano akoso ye papa e wo my mo na ma me esan ye chairperson Edema 15-member technical committee and Edema regulation and standardization Edema ye wo my Ghana watch him say sa clean up exercise we wonu de wonu ankasa ana obedi enim ma wo mo de ahyehyɛ sɛ na be abibia no a driver for any passengers ahodo a wo mo wo my Ghana han wo mo Bible ho nsɛm no ebetimi egina so ye papa edi ama ye no nti Mame Deputy Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Mame Rita na Odele Sowa wono anodin semwe abetudwe nwumre ya yen so ye de bi aba besomo ewo no nsia kase no so mi gina ni nsemi so na metwa me ho akogye abo afron krato aba me ba nsem no edo so na meto aso ede amaw.
Yo, I'm on for and then Yamama Kwaba at the bar, a KFM musical shopper. You to sum you know. Who free a Kumasi Macom that Damono, a sunny at the bar at Dumino, Sabran Udu, a Sambra Junction, Sambra Hotel, Quantana Sope. na shop no any Sambra Hotel ene di nhwe animu wudi free Sambra Hotel a wo sane ede ko nanka na Hagan hono ane oho ana KFM musical shop ye toso mienu ya bie ne foforo na de e kan ne se emfidie papa etimiche de wode ya sorry de wode goro agoro ahodo tuma de bia wode obehia eye mfidie me kire musical instrument bia no eye KFM ento wo se Ghana muntie Asantema muntie eye KFM musical shop ana sabre ya bie ne foforo mu no chan ewo Prempeh the second street Ufri old man come down na wo sane ede ko adum no ane udu Sambra Hotel kwantane so na wa dane on sanifa so oho ana KFM musical shop yi ewo ye ne Sambra Hotel ana ehwe animo ye twa abrebia
gina mese se me ya proud ana se me ye dwa me free Kumasi adum KFM instrument store obi bisa sa se bo me fo dia what to know when need see that what dey near my papa e gina wanim na what to know say yes what to know bibi aka wakoma ni nyina free KFM instrument store Kumasi adum se mi gina na me to know ma bitimi nya ho me ka fi se fi papa mu anim na mi gina no wo be tro ye ko ma ya do se kana twa nanka kana u ensemfu ayi
Medo benami Ghana duko do ajaple ho duko kata. Mie chonyani ade vena micho Talent Microfinance Limited Gajradopa. Mie wana susu savings, adishie, school buafo, cashback, ple bubwa okata. Nenyebe egajom de miagbo la letie tomegbeko ateun ahoga dodo. Kenenyebe egajom vivi la nenyebe ohigahia ola atenwa ava de ogai kene hia fa.
Tanenyebe mi foncho mi afa jongu yo kenye mi afa gadodo nyawa. Business loan elemiashi, church financing elemiashi, salary loan elemiashi, eye bubo li kenye personal loan. Nenyebe mi foncho business loan a enye gadodo ikemie nana asichalao. Nenyebe washiba keke alum eleswe oya va talent. Mi pekpegede nwo nenye wo shigbale sua ne woge wo kekegede ji to talent pomonu ome nenye be mi fonchu mi afa salary loan a enye gado mo mi ke mi vuna mi afa jirudu $1 nke ga nyo he ya va talent wo pay slip pe bank statement ye kwenye nwi hia o na kokko ho salary loan le rate mi to keke akeji church financier personal loan va nenye habobo masoli hama eji fufofo sankuo jitao olila ashibobwe kekeake mia flegeno na nohem v choji nto jinwade vare kwereka mpopo kai ganyu heya talent kuna kpohe ya ole chagbagba na do tare talent bena wo gado monwa anobobwe nami akpenami
etibe ya nyafi ke talent la
Talent Microfinance Jengo Amegan Shipe Ape Letina Tejipo Hotame
Miape Kapomoye 050-129-1298 Allo 050-128-9119 Talent Woga Kwamanu Banto
Talent Microfinance, your channel of wealth.
Egusa mamuna kwaba edam asise enwumre muguso etmu TV no ha mohwe no sia kase wo KFM TV ne so mekai wo se enwumre nsem no etwegu ewe abe fontintam video ne so Facebook and YouTube KFM TV GH no to betimi ahwebie na wo share na wo like na wo adwenche no so de egu ase ama mekama kama meto ansem no se dia ma enwumre dia ye do kopiem ewo Madina ene ne importem na manebo a efi wo ba ne se ye Madina Zongo Junction womo echem se bese mfie enso a betwem koi eye nipa bese 60 ana womo mo ato ananan e won sie ni nya ne se eye food bridge a mo aye ho no wo mo a ebe bia no mo ntie futu a wo mo de se wo befa food bridge ne so no wo mo epese wo mo betwa kwan mu na nam ekwan twetwe mu no eno nam so me anipa be se eye duasa de 60 de wo mo afa sa de we so ato ananan e won sie do a enare awe ho sem ye papa eye la enkwante hene eye la enkwantanten Madina MC eye Ibrahim Faila wo de abetudwa wo chem se ade wo mo de ohye ebe ye adwuma ye papa eye sa de we wo mo behwe se obibia ebehwe na sa food bridge no wo mo eyusu esanse eye akwanhia esi wo ho no ano edin ye papa
additional wire mesh on top. Immediately after that, which is going to be 2 days from today, immediately after that, our sanitation task force, you see some of them in the aggregate, they are going to be here, stationed here permanently, together with the police. And then we'll be reinforcing or convincing the pedestrians to use the food bridge. But the food bridge is meant for them. Within 7 years, we lost a life close to 60. Just a day before yesterday, we left here whilst these guys were working. In just about 25-30 minutes, another life was lost. So every time that it happens to, we do call upon the regional minister, local government minister, even to an extent of calling on behalf of the president. Why should we sit and allow such things to happen? We shouldn't. We've recruited a task force close to 100. And what we are going to do is they will be stationed here, both left side and then the right side. We've also called upon the highways to also help us to retrim this curve to the end there. Therefore, it will be only the police officers and the traffic controllers, that's the city guards and the police, will be stationed at the median of the road. No one will be allowed to use the median. If you choose to use the median, the police, the task force sanitation guys will also arrest you and take you on. So there's going to be a spot fine for those people using the or crossing the median anyhow. And then if you fail to do that too, we'll make sure we'll prosecute you direct to the courts for the court to deal with you.
Ebusi afano ntin same way ana MC no wode abetudwa nwume ya ye so ye de bi abeson won na emra wode ni se mebewie ye no ana Greater Accra Regional Minister Ma Melinda Oklo wono so edi tudwa wo chemu se okopie mu e condition in important ma e sa food bridge e ho no wo mo e de kokobo e de akwama edwadifo a wo mo ho ye papa bibia no wo mo ton ade wo sa food bridge ne so se wo mo nyan ne kamia ye se wo mo bu mani eguso a mo peso mu ja mo che se sa food bridge no enye safe en farm Muntika Moshe na womuma eye etuo interest ne be bo mo na o mankasa wo matimi ejina mo nice same way ana Ma Melinda Oklo wasan editudwa.
So we've been warned that we should advise members here not to trade here because we don't know what will happen. And Mayor was here as well, but today look at it, they are back here. And so I want to find out why they are back here, because they were asked to go to the market. And so let me find out from them. The Yaba has said Abeka Muse food bridge na aye week. It's Mamunto and the Wahase. Young Casa and BBC, I'm blame government. It's a Yasamu. And then Yaba next time Yaba. Yadi car baba ask Sanya man ye gumedeko. Because you who's a moon person who made here. It's next time Yaba. Yadi bus tinty pickups baba. And I say ask Sanya man a gum near the other. Near the court. Where you want us our life and I'll save. Whoa. Who save your life? Who free our life now we save. You need time a bridge a bad so when we talk to them, they should listen to us.
So are you going to give maybe an ultimatum?
Yes, we are telling them to be here at least up to next week because of the fair season in which we are. Let them celebrate the Xmas. Then after the Xmas, they should just evacuate the place.
Ebusiafo no nti Greater Accra Regional Minister Maame Linda Oklo wono anodin semwe abetudwe nwumre so ye de bi aba besom ye do every sansem no nwumre na ye do akonsem fofom de do kopiem e wo Shai Osudoku district na eye wo mo ho e de abeto eye mpenifo nma wo mo e chemu se Maame Linda eye ohenewa Akwele Oklo wo mo de abeto nenma wo mo chemu se wo mo hwe na abibia no eye wo mo no ma hodo a mo ye no wo mo ntimi hye mo kena enfa mom no mo siesie ni nia enfa mom na no e yade bi e bebo mo ma bibia no madwuma etimi akwanim akonkan e de amawo
any MP so munye ye moa se de be ya yenso ye betumi anya clinic na yenso yafa yanya ye fa ahodie enti yesre omomoa ye Abunova Nami Hospital na mi ochinya ha mi network ha mala nyonyo na mi mi amayo na se bi mi osro mala duomo na vi ojedo na la yo network mala nyonyo mo ko na be mi le hihama eta mi le kuku dena mi minister Linda Akwele be
enti ye DC ni MP ni nyina se harvest na be ye no omombra be boaye ye omutimi ye kan mai na kanu timi ba krom ntemtem ebi obi yare na efre kana otimi abantem abefa nipa na akọ na nipa na nye yi na bia na nipa na ewu otimi ba ntem befa na nipa na ewu
ihe na pepele nto donko na nyejiro na wa pelementi ni azabuga wa pelementi mu ihe elementi le gomede wa jagba no wa family wa pelementi ne nyamia ajagba nrute ha hira mi
Ebusiafo no nti nsɛmwe anati memofo a wo mo ɛwɔ Shai Osudoku ene importem wo mo de abetudwe nwumre ya yenso ye de bi aba abesum ye gina mo nsɛmi so ne yada ne ye ho sima ba ye ba ye de nsɛm no ɛkɔ edwadie emu Ebusiafo ye de nsɛm no ɛkɔ edwadie emu de ande dwe abeto dwa se Ghana ha oba ha unemployment no ano ayedin ye papa sesi ade wo mo chem se fiti 2025 ahyese first quarter no mo che se unemployment rate no etimi ekodu 12.8% wo my Ghana ha no wo mo ehwe nim se mpenifo ebetimi ahwe no my bibi de afa wo mo che se first quarter edima 2025 no ekodu 12.8% eno ano edi ye papa na mo chese nkitahodi a labor statistics wo mo de abetu dwa no chem se sadiwe ade ano ayedi ye papa wo my Ghana mo hwem se aban ene ni mpanifo betimi ahwe na sa result we aba no motimi aye bibi ede afon se ne be ya unemployment adoso wo my Ghana ha no wo betimi ama no abrasi ne mbegunu dodo na ene ni padodo na wo munye adwuma enye wo my Ghana ha no wo betimi enye adwuma aye se na be ya bibia no wo monsa ebetimi akọ wo mano enu nti semwe anendedwe impenifo ede abetudwa wo mo echem sesi ade kame aye se o my Ghana eye wo mo munye adwuma anye no wo mano adoso a wo mo hwe nim se ano ebetimi abras na nipa dodo na enso etimi enya adwuma aye enu nti semwe anendedwe ye de abesomo ewe dwede sem no mo migina so na madane me ho sima ba me ba me de sem no ekọ enigedie Yeden sem no ekọ enigedie mu dia Ghana nyumtuni ya eba ne nyumte wo my Ghana ha wo bone homodin wo mu ye papa Black Sheriff ana meka ne ho asemi na ye ne concert a wo de be hyehye so wo my Ghana ha watu ne din se Zama Disco eye concert 2025 den wo chemu se eye December bosome ne de to so eduonu baako wo afimpinu ne eduonu enu mu 21st December 2025 ana Zama Disco concert wo mo de be hyehye so wo my Ghana ye kwesi ade da yenimia eno enam so emma eye Black Sheriff wabone homodin ekopiem ewo University of Ghana eye wo Vice Chancellor Professor Nana Aba Apia eye amfo wode akotu nenim ande ensem de wode eye invitation akoma se ne be amamin ebetimi abone homodin ebepiemu ewo dwumedie no asese ne be ya ebetimi aye kama ewo sanema Black Sheriff ekodrum ho no wode ensem dodo na eneto maami yenim a watchim se wo hwe nim se eye partnerships ahodo no ebetimi aba eye sa na exama disco concert mu se ne be ebetimi aboa ma bibia no eye wo munyum to adwuma no ebetimi akonenim ede amomwenunti eye Black Sheriff ende dwe anobo ne homode ekopie mu ewo hosa wo che se dwumedie we eye University of Ghana Stadium eho anebe koso ho a mo hwe nim se nipa dodo na ebetimi abodompem ebepie mu ewo ho se ne be a sa ne concert ebetimi abeye krabehwe ewo my Ghana nunti ende dwe Black Sheriff eye University of Ghana wo mo Vice Chancellor eye Nana Aba Apia amfo wono ana Black Sheriff etimi akopie mu ewo ne nase a wo hwe nim se ne concert wo betimi ebepie mu ewo ho bia nunti semwe ana ewo ni gede ensem ni mu anwumre ye de aba besomo ewo kase no eso migina so na medi enwumre no si akase no medini nia aba na ewie ye na enwumre nsem no na edoso ye papa enwumre de dimo akotin ebie ni sesesi ade aban ahye se Ken ofori ata no ye ankane woso afo a na ohwe ye sika sem se wo my Ghana ha no wo modi ohye so edin bebe pie mu ewo o my Ghana ha se ede mu nsem ye de ebe somo sa enso so ana ma Melinda Oklo a ye Greater Accra Regional Minister no wachim se eye adetonfo a moton ade wo Kaneshi Food Bridge no so wo mo hwe na wo mo enjanye sa wo mo esan ko hobi ma de besi no enye asem papa wo no so ede mu nsem Nyumre yede ba besom we dwede nsem no eye unemployment na penifo HM sesia de eye first quarter edima 2025 no unemployment na hwili ekodu 12.8% a eno so yede mu nsem yede ebesom we ni gede nsem no Black Sheriff eye na exama disco concert no eno enam so amende dwe wo kopie mu ewo University of Ghana wo Vice Chancellor Maame Nana eye Aba Apia amfo we kopie mu ewo ne nice a wakoto no nkra wo hwe nim so bebe pie mu ewo dwumedie na se no so yede mu nchwemu yede ebesom wo hosa ebusuafo weni nsem ne afoforo pie anwumre ye bo ano ide besom se no si akase wo KFM TV no so ye beda ya bo afo ase KFM Musical Center dada ba tech hub ana talent microfinance omo ananwumre wo mo so masnema mede nsem no mede ebesom kenkan fa wo temika anwumre no edin ameje so ene mami esinkoma yakramina.